Sometimes the people you build your life for are the ones who tear it all down. There are things in life that shatter, and they don't go back together. It's no use trying to patch it up. It's shattered, it's over, and the part that hurts the most, the part that twists your stomach, is when the one who shattered it was the person you loved most, the person you raised. In my case, my own children. The story I'm going to tell today is mine. It's the story of how I found out I was being stolen from inside my own home, inside the company I built with my late wife, and how I had to become a stranger to my own kids, to stop them from destroying their mother's legacy, and mine. I'm Diogo. I'm 46, born and raised right here in Chicago, a Chicagoan through and through. I like the cold, I like the order, and I'm a businessman, or I was. I had a small distribution company, a neighborhood thing, you know, but solid. Me and Lucia, my late wife, we started it from scratch, literally zero. I had a 1990 Dodge Caravan falling apart. We'd load it up with goods before dawn at the wholesale market and drive around delivering door to door to the little corner stores. That was, wow, more than 20 years ago. Lucia, she passed away 10 years ago. Cancer. Way too fast. I was 36, a widower with 3 kids. Carlos, the oldest, is 25 now, Leticia, 23, and Sophia, my youngest, is 20. When Lucia left, I buried myself in work. It was my way of surviving, of not thinking, and of providing. I'm that kind of man, straightforward. My whole life has been about providing, making sure they had what I didn't. Good college, a new car, help to get started. I thought the company was that. It was our legacy, Lucia's legacy for them. And that, right there, that's where I went wrong, badly. To understand how it all fell apart, I need to back up a bit. After Lucia died, I became mom and dad, and the company owner. It was a triple shift, you see. I'd get home and have to check homework, make dinner, listen to teenage drama. And at the company, I had to negotiate with suppliers, pay taxes, load the truck myself if I had to. I didn't stop. I never really mourned properly. And the kids grew up. Carlos got his degree in business administration, Leticia in accounting. As soon as they got their diplomas, what did I do? What every proud idiot dad does. Come work with me. This is all going to be yours one day. I put Carlos in logistics, supervising deliveries. I put Leticia in finance, handling the books. I thought it was the right thing. I thought they'd have the same fire in their belly that Lucia and I had. Sophia was always different. She went to study English Lit. Always had her nose in a book, sharp as a tack. Got a scholarship, went to study abroad in London. Lived far away. But she was the one who called the most every Sunday without fail. Her voice was a relief. The other two were close, too close. And it started slowly. You almost don't see it. It's like rust eating a gate. You only notice when the damage is done. It started with little phrases. Dad, you're already tired. Dad, this inventory control you do in a notebook, that's ancient. We're going to install software. And me? I smiled. I thought it was great. That's great, kids, modernizing. I was still Diogo, the owner, but little by little, I became dad. And then, I became the old man. The meetings with new suppliers, they went alone. Dad, you don't need to come. It's quick. You rest. The purchasing decisions? Dad, I already handled it. Approved that order. But Leticia, did you get a quote from the other supplier? Dad, you don't understand modern cash flow. Leave it to us. And I let them. I'd show up at the company, in my office, the office I set up with Lucia, and I had nothing to do. The employees, the older ones, would come talk to me on the quiet. Mr. Diogo, Carlos changed the delivery routes. It's burning more diesel. Mr. Diogo, Leticia changed the payday. People are complaining. And when I went to talk to them, Dad, it's management. You're too attached to the old ways. The disrespect, it doesn't come with yelling. It comes with that soft way of calling you stupid, of treating you like a museum piece. There was this one Sunday lunch, at my house. I made the lasagna that Lucia used to like, and there they were. Carlos on his phone talking about sports, Leticia on her phone, texting her fiancé. I tried to make small talk. So son, how's logistics? Diesel prices are up, huh? He didn't even look up. It's all under control, Dad. Relax. And you, honey? Did the books close out? Yep, Dad. All good. Silence. Me, there, at the head of the table, a ghost in my own house. They didn't see me anymore. I was just the ATM, the old man who signed the checks, and the money, always asking, Dad, I need an advance on the profits. Dad, my car broke down. Can the company cover it? And I covered it. I paid for their college. I gave each of them a car. And in return, silence, short answers, a loneliness that ached in my chest. But the real wake-up call, the day the floor fell out, was my 46th birthday. Last month, it was at dinner, at home. I didn't want a party, just us. I cooked, made the roast Lucia loved. The smell filled the house. I thought, I don't know, the smell would bring back some good memory, some comfort. Stupid of me. They showed up late, both of them, together. Car Dad traffic, not even a real apology. They sat down, Carlos and Leticia, phones in hand before they were even settled. I served the food, and the silence. You know that silence in a restaurant, when the food is bad and nobody wants to be the first to say it. That was the mood. Me there, 46 years old, feeling like a burden, a waiter. Then they gave me the present, a nice box. I opened it. It was a tie, a blue silk tie. Nice. Happy birthday, Dad. To your health. A quick hug. Do you know that obligatory hug, where the person doesn't even press their chest against you, just gives a few pats on the back? That was it. And back to their phones. At that exact moment, my laptop pinged. A video call. Sophia. From London, I answered. And she was there with a little cupcake, a candle lit, sang happy birthday, and she cried, Dad, I miss you so much. I wish I could give you a hug. And I cried, right there at the table, in front of the other two. They looked at me, with embarrassment, with disgust almost, ashamed of me. They didn't say anything. Leticia just said, Oh, Dad, stop it. And Carlos got up. I'll get some water. He fled. He ran away from his own father's tears. I stayed on the call with Sophia for 2 hours. 2 hours. She showed me the view from her window, the River Thames, and she asked me about Nelson, the accountant. Is Nelson doing okay, Dad? Tell him I said hi. She remembered his name. My other kids, who worked with me, barely knew the employees' last names. A week later, a package arrived in the mail. It was her gift, a book of poetry by Robert Frost, an old hardcover edition that I loved and had lost in a flood years ago. She remembered. She, thousands of miles away, remembered. That day, the day of the dinner, was the day I realized I had lost them. I just didn't know. They were also stealing from me. A week after that dinner, the phone rang. It was Nelson, my accountant, an old friend. Diogo, everything all right over there, son? I'm fine, Nelson, and you? He paused. Look, Diogo, is everything really okay at the company? Because there's a lot of money leaving the business account, a very high profit provision in recent months, but nothing's coming to your personal investment account. Are you taking that money out for something else? I froze. What are you talking about, Nelson? Diogo, I still have read-only access to the old system. And I saw the transactions. It's a lot of money going out. In the last 6 months, it's over $150,000. I almost fell out of my chair. Thanks, Nelson. I'll look into it. I hung up, and the world went silent. $150,000. And look, if you're hearing this story and thinking, how did he not see this sooner? Trust me, you don't see it. You don't want to see it. It's your kids. You give them the benefit of the doubt until the very last second. You think it's, I don't know, mismanagement. Young people who don't know how to control costs. You never, ever think it's theft. It wasn't anger, no, it was a profound disappointment. But what happened next, when I went to investigate? Oh, my friends, that's when the story gets truly ugly. I didn't say anything to anyone. I waited. I waited until Friday. Waited for them to leave the company. I waited until midnight. I got in my car, drove to the warehouse. Chicago that night. Cold. Drizzling. I opened the metal door. The smell of the company. That smell of cardboard, of grease. It was the smell of my life. I went to my office. The office they now used as a conference room. They kept the AC so cold it felt like a meat locker. I sat in the chair that was mine, opened the laptop. I still had the administrator access. Leticia probably didn't even know it existed. I opened the financial software, and I started pulling reports. It didn't take long. It was right there, clear as day. Entries Digital Marketing Consultancy. Month 1, $25,000. Month 2, $25,000. Back to back, 6 months straight. And another line, Executive Bonus, $30,000. Executive bonus? What executives? The company was me, Carlos, and Leticia. I never saw a dime of that bonus. I pulled the business tax ID for that consultancy, threw it into Google. An LLC, opened 6 months ago, in the name of Ricardo Bastos, Leticia's fiancé, my future son-in-law. The blood drained from my face. I clicked on the attachments. The contract. Consulting services for social media optimization and branding. Branding? For a neighborhood distributor. And the executive bonus. Transferred. Half to Carlos's account, half to Leticia's account. $150,000 in 6 months. I just sat there staring at the screen. And you know what went through my head? It wasn't the money. It was Lucia. I remembered her. I remembered one night, back at the beginning. The van had broken down, the axle, in the middle of the Dan Ryan Expressway during a thunderstorm. We had to deliver a shipment of rice or we'd lose the client. Me, soaked, lying on the dirty asphalt, trying to tie the axle together with wire. And Lucia, she was right next to me, holding a weak flashlight with her other hand holding an umbrella that barely covered her, soaked, shivering from the cold. And she looked at me and said, "We're going to make it, Diogo. Just this one more. We're going to make it." We worked for 20 years. 20 years of sweat, of sleepless nights, of skipping vacations. For what? To watch my son and daughter, raised in the comfort she and I never had, stealing from me. To pay for a wedding reception. Because I checked. On my future son-in-law's Instagram, there it was. The contract signed at a luxury venue on the North Shore. The down payment on a new apartment in Lincoln Park. The money. It was my money. Lucia's money. I remembered Carlos when he was 15. He wanted these brand-name sneakers, expensive ones. I couldn't afford them. The company was tight. I said, "Son, not this month. I can't." He sulked. I felt like the worst father in the world. I worked overtime. I took side jobs, deliveries in my personal car on the weekend. 2 weeks later, I came home with the box. His eyes lit up. "Dad, you got them." And I said, "For you, son. Anything I can do, I'll do." Where did I go wrong? Where did the boy who was happy with sneakers turn into the man who steals from his own father? In that instant, in that cold office, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't break anything. I felt an emptiness, a void. The family was over. Diogo, the father, died right there. And Diogo, the businessman, was born. Diogo, the one who was betrayed. I closed the laptop, stood up, turned off the light, locked the door, and on the way home, I made my decision, in silence. It was over. They thought I was the old man, the tired one, the museum piece, right? But they forgot one detail, one tiny detail that Lucia, smart as she was, made sure to fix years ago. They forgot who the owner was, 100%, on paper, in the articles of incorporation. The company was in my name, Diogo, period. And what's more, they thought I was stupid with money, that I was the old man with the notebook. Except the old man with the notebook has an apartment in Lakeview paid in full. A nice apartment worth about $600,000 today. The old man with the notebook has a personal investment account, my own thing, that I never mixed with the company. An account Lucia helped me start. It's got about $250,000 in it. It was my safety net. And the most important part, the ace up my sleeve, the warehouse, the land the distributor operates on. The land doesn't belong to the company. The land isn't on the EN. The land is mine, personal property, my SSN. Lucia insisted, "Diogo, what belongs to the family belongs to the family. What belongs to the company belongs to the company. Separate the land. It's our security. The company, their EIN, paid rent to me, to my SSN. A rent that, looking at the statements, I saw they had forgotten to pay for 8 months. 8 months. The land, just the land, is worth about $700,000, easily. They were so busy stealing $150,000 from me, they forgot to pay the rent on a $700,000 asset. The arrogance, the stupidity. That's when I realized I wasn't defenseless. I wasn't the victim. I was the owner of the chessboard, and they were just pawns. And I was going to take them off the board one by one, but it wasn't going to be with screaming. It wasn't going to be a fight. It was going to be my way. The old man's way. On paper. By the law. With a pen. I got home. It was 3 in the morning. I didn't sleep. I picked up the phone, 7 a.m. I called Nelson. "Nelson, good morning. It's Diogo. You were right. I found it. I need you. I want a full audit. 3 years back. fine-tooth comb, every single cent. He just said, "I'm heading to my office now, Diogo. I'll start today." Second call, 8 a.m. Dr. Mendez, my lawyer. "Dr. Mendez, good morning. Diogo speaking. I need an urgent meeting. Today, it's about the company and about my will. I want to change my will. Today." At 10 a.m. I was sitting in front of him. I told him everything, showed him the printouts of the statements, the invoices, the son-in-law's contract. Dr. Mendez's expression changed. "Diogo, what do you want to do?" And I answered, my voice calm. "I want back what's mine. I want to sell the company, and I want my land back. The lease is terminated. Non-payment." He smiled, a thin smile. "Let's get to work, Diogo. Let's prepare the documents." I spent the whole week on this, in silence. Dr. Mendez prepared the eviction notice for non-payment of rent. Nelson prepared the audit. I went to the bank, cancelled all the corporate credit cards, cancelled the power of attorney I had given them. I blocked their administrator access to the system. And most importantly, I changed my will. Dr. Mendez was clear. "Diogo, in Illinois, children don't have a guaranteed right to inheritance. You can disinherit them, but they will almost certainly contest the will. It'll be messy." I understood. Certo. So, 50% divided 3 ways, and the other 50%, the part I can dispose of? "That," he said, "you leave to whomever you want." And I did. I changed everything, signed, notarized, and I waited. I kept going to the company. "Morning, son." "Morning, Dad." "Morning, Leticia." "Morning." They didn't even notice. They were too busy spending my money. It didn't take long. The bomb went off the following Monday, 8:30 a.m. My phone rings. It was Carlos, panic in his voice. Dad, there's an error at the bank. I went to pay the rice supplier and the corporate card was declined. You have to call the bank, they're blocking us." I took a deep breath, kept my voice calm. "There's no error, Carlos." "What do you mean there's no error? It's declined. The supplier is on the line." "I know, Carlos, I cancelled the card." Silence, a heavy silence. You what?" "I cancelled it. Cancel the purchase. I'm coming to the company now. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Wait for me in the conference room, you and your sister." And I hung up. 10 minutes later, the phone rings again. It was Leticia, crying. "Dad, what did you do? The company account is frozen. We have payroll to make. The system is down. Are you crazy? You're going to bankrupt us." "Leticia," I said, already parking the car. "I'm not bankrupting anything. I'm saving what's left. I'm walking in, wait for me." I had never worn a blazer to the company. That day I did, a dark blue blazer, the tie they gave me. I left it at home. I walked into the warehouse. The employees looked at me, confused. I went straight to the conference room. They were there, pale. Carlos, red with anger. Leticia, her eyes swollen. "Dad, thank God. The bank, the manager said it was your order. You need to reverse this now," she said, walking toward me. I held up my hand. "Sit down, Leticia." She stopped. Before they could say another word, I closed the door, and I put the first stack of papers on the table, Nelson's audit report. "Good morning. I called you here for an executive meeting, but since I'm the only executive, this will be more of an announcement." Carlos shot up from his chair. "Are you insane? What are you doing? Unblock that account now." I looked at him, cold. "Sit down, Carlos." He froze. I don't think he'd ever heard that voice. I pushed the second stack of papers toward them, the bank statements, the invoices from the consultancy, the contract for Leticia's fiancé. "This," I said, pointing. "What is this?" "Marketing consulting, $150,000 for your fiancé to pay for a wedding reception, Leticia." Leticia fell apart, a loud, desperate sob. Dad, it's not like that. You're misunderstanding. We were going to pay it back. It was just that advance we were going to tell you." "Tell me when? When you had burned through everything and you, Carlos, executive bonus?" "What executive?" "In the company I founded with your mother, the company I sweat to build." He slammed his hand on the table. "You abandoned us. You didn't do anything here anymore. We're the ones running this. We're the ones grinding here day in and day out. We deserve it. You don't even know what happens here anymore. You're ungrateful." "Ungrateful?" He called me ungrateful. "Ungrateful," I said. "I gave you college. I gave you cars. I gave you jobs. I gave you a life I never had. And you stabbed me in the back. And you," I pointed at Carlos, "besides being ungrateful, are stupid. So stupid you didn't even see what you were signing." He paused. What did I sign?" "You signed off on the executive bonuses. You signed off on the purchases without quotes. And you, along with your sister, stopped paying the rent on the warehouse for 8 months. Leticia looked up, her face wet. Rent? Dad, what rent? You're delirious. The company is ours. And then I had to laugh. A dry laugh. Ours? No. The company is mine. And the warehouse, the land, is mine. Personal property. And this, I said, putting the third document on the table, is the eviction notice. You have 30 days to get everything out. Leticia stopped crying. Carlos went white. What? The land is mine, and the lease is terminated for non-payment. Oh, and one more thing. As of today, you are both fired for cause embezzlement. Carlos lunged at me. You can't do this. It's ours. We have rights. It's our inheritance. I didn't move. Stood toe-to-toe with him. Inheritance? Inheritance is what your mother left, and you spat on her memory. Inheritance is what you earn through merit, not theft. It's over. Get out of my office and out of my company. And that was that. What happened next? Dr. Mendez took over. The company, I sold it. I sold the name, the client list, the remaining inventory. Got $800,000 for it all. With that money, I paid off the debts they'd run up behind my back. Back taxes, suppliers they had stiffed. There was some left over. The land is mine, worth $700,000, clean. It's leased to the new company that bought my operation. The rent check hits my account on the 5th of every month. And the $150,000 they embezzled? Dr. Mendez was an artist. Legally, he proved the embezzlement, and that amount was deducted with interest and penalties from any share they might have claimed from the profits of the sale. They tried to fight it in court, but the documents were clear. The theft was obvious. They lost. Leticia's fiancé vanished. The luxury wedding was cancelled. I heard they're renting in that apartment in Lincoln Park, an apartment they're struggling to afford. Carlos, I heard he's working as a salesman at a car dealership. They lost everything. They lost their jobs, they lost the money, they lost their mother's legacy, and they lost me, and my will. The will. As Dr. Mendez said, the law requires me to leave the legitimate portion, 50% of everything I have. So when I'm gone, 50% of my estate, the apartment, the land, the investments, will be divided equally among the 3 of them. Carlos, Leticia, and Sophia. Each one will receive the minimum the law requires. The rest, the other 50%. The part I can choose, I left it all to Sophia, 100% of the discretionary part. And along with the will, in Dr. Mendez's safe, I left a letter, just for her, explaining everything, every detail, the why behind every decision. She'll understand. And me? Where am I now? Today I live in London. I moved to be close to Sophia. I rented a small apartment, but with a beautiful view of the River Thames. The money from the sale and the rent from the land is invested. It earns enough for me to live very well. Better than I lived in Chicago. I sleep well. Do you know what it's like to sleep without that weight on your chest? Without that feeling that you're being played for a fool? That's it. I wake up, have my coffee looking at the river. Sophia comes over for dinner 3 times a week. We cook together. We talk. We laugh. I've started reading again. I've started living again. The other day she asked me, Dad, are you at peace after everything? And I thought about it. I looked at the river down below. I am, sweetheart. You know why? Because I did what your mother would have done. She was fair. She didn't tolerate disrespect and she didn't tolerate dishonesty. I protected her legacy. We don't talk about Carlos and Leticia, not because it's forbidden, it's just there's nothing to say. It's a closed chapter. It's a pain that turned into a scar. She knows what happened, the basics. She doesn't need the dirty details. Carlos and Leticia? I haven't spoken to them in a year. They never called to apologize, only to ask for money. I didn't answer. And if they called today, I don't know if I'd answer. Some things, you see, some things break and just can't be fixed. Family to me is now about who cares, who respects, who remembers your favorite poetry book. The rest are just relatives. Thanks for listening to my story. I know it was long, but I needed to get it out. And you, what would you have done in my place? Would you forgive? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you've been through something similar, share your story too. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Take care. Be at peace.